Hi there, Chadi Bazzi with Real Estate Success Mastery TV, and welcome to another episode. And this is an episode that I am super excited about because today I'm going to introduce you to one of my coaching clients, Gabriel Bolanos. Hopefully I pronounced his last name right. This is a man who's only been in the business for approximately 2.5 years and totally knocking it out of the park. Totally knocking it out of the park in more than one way. When he first got involved in the business, I'm not going to share the actual numbers or anything like that, but totally knocked it out of the park working buyers. And then he's like, I got to transition from working buyers to working sellers so I can make the same amount of money, if not more, while working less. And I'll tell you, in 2.5 years, he's accomplished that. And can't wait to introduce you to him in a couple of minutes. So I will see you in a couple of minutes. Take care. Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Sales Mastery TV. I'm your host, Chadi Bazzi, a real estate coach and trainer, and I'm on a mission to help you master the art of selling so you can take more listings than you are right now, sell more homes much faster than you ever have, work less, and build a business by design. A business you absolutely love that gives you the money, time, and freedom that you deserve. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hey there, welcome to another episode of Real Estate Success Mastery TV. I'm very excited today because I have a special guest, a dear friend, and someone who's just knocking that out of the park right now that's just going to share freely with you exactly how to take your business to the next level regardless of where you are in your business right now. Mr. Gabriel, and your last name is Bolanos?
Bolanos, yes.
You say it better than I do. So, hey, first of all, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to meet with you in person today and, just share, whatever you want to share. And I say you want to share because, for those of you who have been watching the show know I'm 100% unscripted. I'm all about, authenticity and just sharing with you freely anything and everything that's working out there in the real estate industry right now. So again, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. So let's begin by, you taking out a moment, Gabriel, and, just telling everyone who you are, where you work, and, how long you've been in the business, etc.
Sure. Like you said, my name is Gabriel Bolanos. I work with Intel Real Estate here in Rancho Cucamonga. I've been in the business about 2.5 years.
Okay.
Was in retail for a very long time before then. So I've been in this office the whole 2.5 years and really loving it. Yeah.
So 2.5 years in real estate, and you were in retail before you were in real estate. Okay. And what made you decide to get involved in real estate?
It's an interesting question. In the back of my mind for actually many years, the thought was there that I felt that I would do well in the industry, but never had the courage to make the move, going from a salary position to 100% commission, until getting married and having a baby. And the time that I was spending at work wasn't worth missing out on my new wife and baby growing up. So I made the decision to make the move and come over to real estate.
I see. So Gabriel, I'm just curious to find out, because you said, the thought was always there.
Yeah.
How long did you think about making that transition from, security where you have like a regular paycheck every single week or every single month, however you were getting paid, to just jump and ship into real estate? How long did you think about it for?
It was probably about over 10 years.
Whoa.
Well, the thought was there. It would go because I was doing well in retail and I was successful. But anytime I felt stressed or overwhelmed with the amount of time that I was spending at work, the thought always came to mind. So that last kind of what broke the camel's back, the straw that broke the camel's back, was the fact that I got married and had a baby to take care of. Yeah.
Good. And the reason I asked you that question, how long did it take, Gabriel, is because over the course of the last dozen plus years that I've been in the real estate industry working with top producing agents, like yourself from all over the country, is a lot of times I meet people and they're either going through that transition or thinking about making the transition. And for too many people, it just takes a long time. Mm-hmm. But I think you got the record now. 10 years is definitely too long of a time. Yeah. And here, knowing what you now know, if you knew that back then, would you have got into real estate much sooner? Somebody out there is probably asking that question.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a great question because I ask myself quite often, especially when things are rolling, rocking and rolling, and doing well in the industry. I think back to man, if I would have done this earlier, how much better I would be, how much more experience I would have. But I don't dwell on it because obviously I believe that everything happens for a reason and there's a timing and a plan. And I think it worked out great. I mean, I'm in a great office with great people. I may not have that. If I would have joined earlier, maybe got turned away with the type of office that I would have joined.
That's true.
So I don't dwell on it. But the thought has come up in my mind. If only if I would have gone in earlier, where would I be now? But
exactly.
But
Exactly. Well, it is what it is. Yeah. You're here and you're doing very well. Okay. And one of the main reasons I'm very excited about like really having this interview with you today is because, there's a lot of other people out there that have a similar show to what we do, and they're always showcasing the person who's doing 100 transactions or 200 transactions or making $1 million. And you and I both know that the majority of people are not doing these kind of numbers. The majority of people are, in their mind like, how do I just increase my production by one transaction a month?
Sure.
Or how do I make an extra, $100,000 a year, not $1 million, okay? And you fit the perfect category, for that individual who's watching this in that position right now. So 2.5 years in real estate, how well did you do your first year? I'm just curious, like your first year getting into the business, how well did you do? If you don't mind sharing some numbers with us.
My first full year, which was 2012, I did 36 closed and pending. For the year. So actual close was, I believe it was 29 or something.
Okay.
29, 30. So I did fairly well. I got to earn the Rookie of the Year award, which was great, which is unbeknownst to me when I went to the meeting, which was great.
Awesome.
But it's been great. I have made, obviously we all have our valleys and our peaks.
Yeah.
But the first year, the amount of time that I spent was working with buyers.
Okay.
Which it's interesting because the amount of hours I was working is probably very similar to the amount of hours I was working in retail, just in a different industry. I had all that energy and all that work ethic to do that. So I stopped again and started thinking, okay, how can I be more efficient with my time? Because I want to spend time with the family. So eventually made the transition last year to strictly go work or earn listings, and not necessarily reject or negate buyers, but focus on listings. So
okay, this is now becoming very interesting because what I'm hearing you say is like you spent 10 years saying I want to get involved in real estate, and then at the end you got married, you're starting a family, and you're like, I don't want to work this hard. Working in real estate, I can control my hours, I can work less. You get involved in real estate, you do 29 transactions in terms of close the first year, 36 closed and pending, which is above average in our industry. So I congratulate you on that. But you find yourself working the same amount of hours.
Yeah.
Maybe you're making more money, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you're working the same amount of hours. You're like, I'm thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, the money is good, but I got to cut back on the hours.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Exactly.
So what'd you do?
Refocused my business to listings at the beginning of the year, beginning of last year in 2013, and I got to tell you that in the short career that I've had, that's probably been the roughest quarter of the 2.5 years, because not only was I used to already with buyers, and I was confident and had that confidence that okay, I'll go earn a buyer and be able to put them into escrow and get the house that they want and make them happy and earn referrals that way. But in addition to some accolades, always the pats in the back, which always feels good to all of us, to completely stop and focus on listings. So the first quarter, I believe the first quarter of 2013, I maybe closed 3 transactions or something like that. So it was rough, not only financially obviously, but mentally, just in the mind that man, I just want to go back and just kick butt. But I knew what the ultimate goal. And I had that blind faith that just keep doing what I'm doing and the business would come in order to refocus and change the type of business I was doing.
Very good. And I want to backtrack a moment. I mean, obviously you did very good your first year, and I want to focus on that for a couple more minutes because there's somebody out there saying, hey, I've been in business longer than 1 year and he did 29. I'm just kind of curious how he did so good so fast, and is there something that he did in the first year that I can do right now, regardless of how many years they've been in the business, they can help them grow their business. How were you getting your business when you first got involved in the business?
Oh, the old school knocking on doors.
Knocking on doors, okay.
With Danny's help, obviously, I sat down and said, okay, tell me what I need to do. I'm new to the industry. I'm just gonna humble myself. I don't know anything. Tell me exactly what I need to do.
Okay.
So he gave me a schedule, what I need to do for 90 days. That it's a 90-day business. Put your head down, go knock on doors every single day for a certain time to time to follow up, and that's exactly what I did. Honestly, I don't remember how many pairs of shoes I went through because I was knocking on doors every day.
Okay.
And with that, earning clients that way, and then earning referrals from those clients, that as time progressed started getting a little easier. But to answer your question, how I earned the majority of my business was door knocking.
Good. So you went out there and you earned it. The key word is you earned it. Like you paid the price. You went out there. You got in conversations with people, belly to belly, face to face, build relationships, and then those relationships not only resulted in transactions, but they also resulted in referrals. There's something else I heard you say, and I want to touch up on. For those of you that don't know, you should know a man by the name of Danny Worrell, who is one of the most amazing leaders in the real estate industry, purely hands down. You said you went to Danny and you're like, Danny, what do I do?
Yeah.
And Danny was like, A, B, C.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
And you went out there, did A, B, C, and did 36 deals your first year.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to tell you is the thing I picked up on is he knew there's somebody out there who has already done what he's trying to do, and that person was going to be the shortcut from wherever he was at to those 36 deals the first year. Okay, so I'm assuming that you also went to Danny and said, Danny, how do I transition from, my buyer deals to getting some seller deals?
Yeah.
What did Danny tell you?
That, and also obviously Danny well. Him looking at it, and he genuinely cares. So we have quarterly reviews, so we would sit down and look at our numbers and say, okay, where's your business coming from? Where's your business coming from? Are they buyers or listings? So we sat down. The majority were buyers. So he said, you know what, you need to leverage yourself. And he started asking the amount of time I was spending and what I was doing. He said, okay, this is what needs to happen. And he's the one that told me, he said, look, you're gonna have to, if you really want to do this, if you really taking this industry, you want to make a career out of it and thinking longevity, you need to switch over to listings, and because that's gonna ensure that your career is not short term. So we sat down again, and he said, okay, this is what you're gonna have to do. Then why don't we start the first quarter of 2013 and switch over to completed listings. So I made the investment actually later in 2012 is when I started investing in systems and dialers to start calling. Didn't really use them because
sounds familiar.
I was paying for it, but didn't really use it. So until I sat down with him, he said, listen, you're probably not going to be on the board very often because you're completely switching over.
Right.
You got to not worry so much about any awards or accolades. Make the investment now, and it'll come later. So that's exactly what he did. So I sat down with Danny because he's the one really, obviously, he genuinely cares. And we looked at the numbers and how much time I was spending, where my business was coming from, how much time I was spending actually earning all of the buyers. So in order to be more efficient and work better in the time that I was utilizing, he said, okay, we gotta do the listings. So we sat down, and again he gave me a plan, what exactly to do, and that's exactly what I did. It was more difficult actually this time, the second time than the first time, because the first time I had no idea, okay, I'm gonna do it, that's it. Second time in my back of my mind, it's like, man, I can go and work with buyers and put my name on the board a lot easier and a lot faster than this. But I stuck to it and kept dialing and kept prospecting, and eventually the third quarter, my 2013, it was all about the last 7 months of the year, 6 months of the year.
So basically you were thinking more long term than you were short term. And you knew that there was a price that you had to pay. And the price wasn't necessarily just time, it wasn't necessarily just effort, but it was also commission checks.
Yeah.
So you knew that there were certain buyers that you could have worked with that would have resulted in a paycheck, but you had to give those up in order for you to pursue building a real estate business.
Yes.
Okay, so you made the transition into listings. I'm just curious. You said in the last 6-7 months where it really paid off. How many listings have you taken in the last 6-7 months?
In the last 6 months, I would say close to 30. Probably.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah. In the last 6-7 months, yes.
So close to 30 listings in the last 6-7 months. So if we think that we're talking about an average of 4 listings a month, so we're talking about an average of one listing a week.
Just about. Now,
So-
obviously some weeks are better than others.
Yeah,
but
of course. I mean, just like, when was it? A couple days ago, you took 2 listings or
Yes,
something like that?
yes.
Awesome. So where's the listings coming from?
Prospecting. What's great now, going through the transition from buyers to listings, referrals still come even with listings, but the majority is prospecting.
Okay.
Phone dialing and center of influence. And,
Good. So you're down in centers of influence.
hmm
I'm assuming you're making some cold calls.
Yes.
Are you calling? Last week you and I were having a conversation.
Yeah.
I remember the number, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Uh-huh.
So far this year, in the first January, February, March, April, in the first 4 months, you've taken 6 expired listings. Is that correct?
Yes.
6 expired listings this year. So that's just one source.
Mhm.
Now I'm just curious, what's your average commission check?
7,775.
Whoa, look at that. How specific is that? 77, 75.
Yeah.
You're making it very difficult for me to multiply that by 6.
7,000.
So 7,000, more like 7,500. So 50/50 is $45,000, over $10,000 a month just from this one source.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And the reason I'm highlighting this is because we're talking now specifically about expireds, and there's a lot of people out there that want to call expireds who are very frightened to call expireds.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, were you ever there
Frightened?
to call on expireds?
Oh yeah, yeah. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
It's a mental thing, and for me, it's newly expireds were are a little intimidating.
Yeah.
And after we had a conversation, it was interesting to me. I said, well, the difference between an expired that expired today and one expired last week, not very much. And
Yeah.
for some reason in my mind, we had the conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, I'm there.
So how did you overcome that? Or is it still there? Do you have to
It's-
work through
oh,
it? I'm just
absolutely.
curious.
Absolutely, it's still there. And you get some great advice, just affirmations and pumping
Yeah.
myself up and coming in here with a good attitude. If I don't have a good attitude, do whatever it takes to get into a good attitude, with good energy to get onto the phone. And that's really what I do. And I still have that feeling,
Mhm. So literally the feeling doesn't disappear. It's just that you got to learn to manage the feeling.
At least for me, it hasn't disappeared. That's
Okay.
for me. I'm
Well,
working to
I'll
manage.
tell
it,
you,
yeah.
for me, it never ever disappeared.
Yeah.
And you touched up on something. You said affirmations.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things for me, and I don't want this to be about me, but I feel like you can definitely benefit from what I'm about to share right now, is that for I don't know how long, but I would tell myself like every single day throughout the whole entire day that I love prospecting.
Yeah.
Now, in reality, if I really, sit down and think about that, did I really absolutely love prospecting? I don't think so. I don't think I love prospecting. I love the result. I don't think I love prospecting. It's just that I told myself that I love prospecting so much that I began to believe that I actually love prospecting. So during a prospecting session, I would feel like I'm doing something that I absolutely loved.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So the affirmations were huge. So you do affirmations every day?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, so let's move in a different direction real
Sure.
quick. Throughout this whole entire transition, did you experience a time where you felt like you just wanted to give up, or a time that you just felt like maybe you made the wrong decision regardless of how much money you're making, and you just wanted to go back to certainty or anything like that? Did you ever experience that?
Not when I was working with buyers.
Okay.
That transition I already knew. When I started working in this industry, I was like, man, I would speak with agents and say, oh, I gotta work this weekend, and whether you're either on the phone or an open house. I said, that's not work. At least not to me. I mean, if you're unloading a 50-foot truck at 3 o'clock in the morning, okay, that's physical labor. If you're
Yeah,
out
yeah.
working, picking up, that's work. So for me, that was awesome. I mean, I'm like, man, this is great. Now, going into listings, did I ever have that doubt? I want to go, absolutely. I was like, oh my goodness, I could just go knock on the door or earn a buyer, call somebody, and I'll put a buyer into escrow. In that occasion, I can't lie, I did have multiple times thinking about going back to I'm just gonna work with buyers. The heck with this calling stuff and getting hung up on and getting yelled at and getting people upset with me, when I'm trying to provide a service. So yeah, that thought did cross in that occasion. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, one thing that I absolutely love about you is your energy, okay? And I'm sure a lot of people are picking up on his passion as he is speaking. Is there anything that specifically that you do that makes you either fall in love with this business or better yet, I know you personally because, We have conversations on a weekly basis. What time do you wake up every single day? I'm just curious.
3 o'clock in the morning.
3 o'clock in the morning. You know what? Some of us go to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. So why do you wake up so early? I'm just curious. And just a warning right here, you don't have to wake up that early. You know, your life by design, business by design. It's just you choose to get up that early. I'm just curious, why do you wake up so early?
I've always been an early bird, but the 3 o'clock actually was a gradual. I have a strong belief that in order to be to have the personality, to have the energy, it's got to be mind, body, and soul, obviously. So as far as the body, the only time that I can go to the gym and do something physical for my health is in the morning, because I don't want to steal any time from my family in the evening. So as time progressed, whether it be cardio or whatever, my workouts got longer. So instead of having to come back in the evening, I just said, I'll just wake up earlier. And that's how it's been, and it's worked out great. So started off at 5, went to 4:30 to 4, and now it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
To get my workout, to get my affirmations, and to get my meditation, and to get some reading, and come into the office fully energized, ready to go. And it's a great feeling coming in. It's kind of afternoon for me when people are some people are walking in, so it's great.
You know, when people are having breakfast, it's lunchtime.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So walk us through a day in the life of you. So, you know, you wake up at 3 o'clock, you do your personal stuff, etc. What time do you get into the office? What do you do when you get to the office? What time you finish, etc.? What's an average day in the life of Gabriel look like?
Sure. I get into the office between 7 and 7:15. I'll come in, I'll do my affirmations, or more affirmations really, in my book, my gratitude book. I'll listen to some motivational, motivational audio. At 7:30, I go downstairs and I lead, along with Adrian, we lead role play for the office.
Okay.
So I do that from 7:30 to 8. Come back up here, and by 8:15, I'm on the phones calling expired, current expireds. Usually in the area that I work right now, it's been maybe 3 or 4 per day. After that, I do the last 30 days.
Okay.
You know, as we talked about, I was instructed 30 days, and I'll do that. After that, I'll go to the past older expireds. So for last 6 months, 9 months. Once I go through that, any listing that I've earned, I'll do just sold. Cold calling brings me up to around, I stop around 11:30. I break, start check, then I check email, break for lunch, come back, I'll do some admin work, some homework, and follow up.
Don't point at me when you say homework.
Homework or anything assigned that I have to get done. To get done in that evening, and then any appointments that I might have usually be after 4 o'clock. So my day on average will end around 5:30, depending on personal things that I have to do with my wife. I may have something on schedule that I have to do. So.
Okay, very good. Sounds like a very good and structured and productive day. One thing I want to ask. I know you personally because we coach together. And I know your numbers. Test. We'll put them on the spot. How many contacts to a sale for you right now? I remember the number from 2 weeks ago. Let's see if you remember.
If I remember correctly, it's not as good as I'd like it to be. It was 122 or something like that.
Yeah, very close. The last number I got is a few weeks ago. It was about 127 contacts to a transaction. And, the reason I'm bringing that up is because he mentioned that he's calling on new expireds every single day, then older expireds, then he's calling around a listing and a sale. And knowing your numbers makes it, does it make it easier for you to know, that for every 127 people you speak to, you're going to earn a check, pretty much. You're going to put a deal together.
Yeah.
Does that help you push through and make your calls on the days that you don't feel like making your calls?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you look at the numbers and I'm close.
Yeah.
I'm maybe 10 or 15 contacts away.
Yeah.
Today's the day.
Yeah.
And you just go at it. Yeah, for sure.
Love it.
Yeah, it helps.
So everyone out there, lesson right now, the major point that I want you to write down is I must begin to keep track of my numbers. I must begin to keep track of my numbers. The numbers are very, very critically important. So back to your morning routine, you said that you do affirmations every single morning, you read a little bit, and you listen to some positive audio.
Yes.
So if there's someone out there who's ready to pick up a book right now, what book would you recommend based on all the books that you've read? What one book?
Oh man, I would say, the one that I'm reading now still that I haven't finished is The Magic of
Believing.
Believing. Yeah, that's a great book.
Okay.
And I'm not a great reader, but like you said, we're in coaching. It's out there. We coach with Chadi. So a lot of the times it was just audio. So I would listen to audio. So when I read, I don't know if it's just my personality or ADD or whatever it is, my mind sometimes goes and I got to come back and I'm like, what did I just read? So I go back and read. So it takes me a little longer. But I think it forces to really embed what I'm reading in my mind. But it's a great book. And it really, really helps to come in and be okay with giving yourself amazingly huge goals. As opposed to thinking, oh, I can't really accomplish that. So it made it easier, at least for me, to think just huge. And why not? So it's a great book.
Absolutely. So everyone out there, it's called The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol. Excellent, excellent, excellent book. That was one of the books that was like, gave me a turning point in my life. And that's why anytime I'm coaching with somebody, that is one of the first books that I recommend to them. Sure. Perfect. And what is like one audio program that you've recently listened to or listening to right now that you would recommend to our viewers or the people who are listening to this podcast?
Well, I'll obviously listen to this podcast, but right now I have audible.com, so once a month I can download a book. But there's many out there. I mean, the Answer.
John Assaraf.
John Assaraf.
Wow, that is a must.
I would say that I would recommend that.
I know Danny's big on that, and Danny makes sure that anyone that's going to work in his office definitely goes through that program or reads that book.
Yeah,
so, good one.
We have books that we listen to in the office, a monthly book. Right now, which I think actually was last month and it rolled over, David and Goliath, great book also.
Malcolm Gladwell?
Yes.
Malcolm Gladwell, okay.
Yeah, so, but there's a lot out there. If they don't have audible.com, it's great. Even when you're working out, doing your cardio, just to listen to something.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so you're reading, you're listening to something, okay, you're doing your affirmations. You talked a little bit of something called the gratitude book. Can you, I mean, some people heard the word gratitude book and they have no idea what you're talking about. First of all, does the gratitude book, whatever you do in the gratitude book, does that impact who you are, your results, etc.? Do you believe it does?
I believe so, yes.
Then we got to share with them exactly what it's all about.
Just a gratitude book, and it's something that we do, the majority of us do here in the office. We'll write down the top 10 things. We'll do 10 things that we're grateful for.
Okay.
And usually you can kind of turn those into affirmations.
Okay.
So that the 3 things that happened in the last 24 hours that you're again grateful for.
Okay.
And then we do 25 times what your income will be for the year.
Okay, so you write down your income goal in the present tense, I'm assuming.
Yes.
25 times every single day.
Every single day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must hurt.
It does.
I know it does for me, but by the time I get to like 15, I'm like, all right, man, I gotta work this muscle.
It does. Yeah.
It's very good. So you feel like that helps. Okay. So Gabriel, if there was a brand new agent or someone that's starting over, and starting over doesn't necessarily mean that they left the industry and they're coming back into the industry. Starting over meaning, hey, you've inspired me today, because through this interview, I'm pumped up. I want to like just start from scratch. I want to build up my business, etc. And they have the opportunity to ask you the question, Gabriel, what are 3 things that you would recommend I do now to increase my production by, let's say, 1 or 2 deals a month? What would you tell that person?
Number 1 key, I would say, schedule, for sure.
Okay.
Stick to your schedule. Get the schedule, because we technically don't have a boss being business owners here, but the schedule should be our boss.
Okay.
That's it. I think that was one of the, thinking back from being from the corporate world and coming here, it was so instilled in me having a schedule that it helped me to stick to a schedule. So that's huge. We touched on it through this whole interview is affirmations for sure.
Okay.
Because we all go through our ups and downs, especially in this industry that it's so emotional based, or it can be. We have super highs and then super lows. Great, huge listing. Oh, you know what? It didn't go through with it. Fell, and it could be instant. So affirmations help for sure, and find somebody who's already done it.
Okay.
And just model. That's basically it, and that's I think another key that I was able to find. I was blessed and fortunate to find someone like you, Danny, some of the agents here in the office that have done it in the past. And if one humbles oneself and just say, okay, you know what, I know nothing, just tell me what to do, and actually do it, the industry is really not that difficult. I mean, it's emotional. But the tasks that we have to do, it's not that hard.
It's like sometimes it's like, I can't believe I just made, $15,000 for, selling
Exactly.
this house.
Yeah.
I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. All right. So the three things that, you're recommending is, number one, make sure you have a solid schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. And number two, do affirmations.
Yeah.
And number three, seek mentorship. In mentorship, just so people out there know what we mean by mentorship. Mentorship doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to hire a coach. It could be, going ahead and hiring a coach. I mean, that would be a good thing. Or you could seek, someone who is, who is an inspiration, like Gabriel. I'm sure there's another Gabriel somewhere in your office or your marketplace, and reach out to them. And pick their brain, ask them questions, etc. And or it could be your manager or broker, or it could be someone that you're watching, through a video podcast or an audio podcast or YouTube, etc. It's just that you always got to be, on the lookout for the latest trends, latest technologies, for whatever is going to benefit you and cause you to grow. So talking about the latest trends, the latest technologies, is there a technology tool that you use that you would recommend to people, like maybe an Evernote or something like that?
Technology tool. Well, the biggest thing, what I use the most for me right now is Mojo Dialer.
Okay.
Whether it be Mojo, there's other dialers out there, but that's what I use. I would
Okay.
say 100% as far as dialing. It makes you a lot more efficient.
Okay.
And you're able to save a lot of time.
Okay.
And then a solid CRM. Because as you start earning and you're going to start earning business and your career progresses, it's key to ensure that your sphere of influence, you keep in touch
Right.
somehow.
You got to have that database
Absolutely,
in place.
the
You got to have
database
that
in place.
database.
Yeah.
All right, so basically for you right now, it's the Mojo Dialer, which causes you to become more efficient.
Mhm.
Okay. And number two would be, some form of a
source of
CRM.
absolutely.
And is there a CRM that you would recommend that, based on, I'm sure you went
Sure.
through maybe a couple
Yeah.
to get through one that you absolutely like or whatever?
Well, interesting, because what I do is I'm huge at finding somebody that does something great and just dive
Model,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shortcut.
Shortcut. Because for me,
Cheating
a little
Cheating
bit.
your way to
But-
success. I like
But to
that.
me, I'm always thinking time, because I got into this industry so late in my mind, as far as my age, that I have no time to waste. So I was
Yeah.
like, I need to find somebody that already made the mistakes and I can learn from them.
Yeah.
Or somebody that's been successful at something or a tool and use that. A good friend of mine and lender partner, Francisco Hara,
Uh-huh.
he had a Salesforce on the lending side.
Mhm.
And we would connect and we had do some transactions together. We shared some clients, and the system that he had was so solid and so automated that I was like, do they make that for real estate side? I need that and get rid of the spreadsheet. So he looked into it and they absolutely did. So my recommendation, what I use, is Salesforce, and it's been working for me
Very good.
awesomely.
Very good. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about Salesforce. I've never used it personally, but I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. So it's definitely,
Yeah.
one of the better ones out there.
I think so, yeah, especially if you're looking to grow your business
Mhm.
or grow a team.
Right.
Because each have logins, you can assign tasks, you can assign assignments, and the scheduling and the contacts and invites, and it's a great
Good.
system. Yeah.
Gabriel, I'm sure somebody out there wants to know, what are you projecting, not dollar amount, transactions, how many transactions do you think you'll end up doing this year?
Well, the goal is 68.
Okay.
Is the goal.
The goal is 68.
So, absolutely.
All right, and hold on a second. That's what I love. Come here, buddy. Come here.
We were just
All
talking about you.
We were just talking about this guy, and I love it when somebody just pops in like that. Remember, 20, 30 minutes ago, we said Mr. Danny Morel.
What's up?
The man that you should know. This is him.
Yes.
Totally unannounced. And
Yes.
that's what I absolutely love about, these interviews and everything that we're doing.
That's right.
So,
what are we talking about?
okay, well, here's what we're doing. Well, first of all, welcome to Real Estate Success Mastery TV.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I like the name.
Okay. Yeah, very familiar.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what we're doing is we're, interviewing top agents every single week. Okay. And, we have a great man right
One
here.
of the best.
One of the best.
By far.
Okay. And, he shared with the world how you helped him do 36 deals his first year.
Right.
Okay. And then how you helped them transition from working with buyers to completely working with sellers, and with a goal to do 68 transactions this year, which I'm 100% confident he will do.
Well, stop everything, because this is what you guys must understand, is that when you know what you want and you believe in yourself, nothing is impossible. Because this is what you need to understand about what this man did. Is not only did he do 36 transactions in the first year, he literally in December came to me and says, "Man, I'm working 7 days a week. This is not what I got into the business for. What do I got to do? I looked him in the eye and I said, do you really want to know what? He says, yeah. I go, you got to burn the bridges. I said, you got to stop worrying about the awards, stop worrying about the recognition, stop worrying about everything, and become a listing agent to the point where if you don't list, you don't eat. Period. End of story.
You gotta list to exist.
Yes, that's right. So what he literally did, and this is what 99 out of 100 human beings that I meet do not have the courage to do, is he literally stopped everything. He put it aside and he dedicated himself 100% to becoming a listing agent. First 3 months were tough.
Oh God, yeah.
Very, very tough. But after that, it kind of slowly started happening. And I promised him, I said, Gabriel, if you do this year, the rest of your life, you'll be able to dictate and control your time, spend time with your family, so forth and so on. And that's where he's at right now. And that's the best part.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you this much, man. You know, one thing I know for me, and I'm sorry to take this off of you.
Oh, no,
right,
it's okay.
Who you are is a man of contribution and a man of inspiration, and I love that about you. But another thing that I know is that whenever I'm in the presence of like a man like this and a man like this, my passion goes up, my power goes up, and I'm totally lit up. And I'm totally lit up right now, as you can tell.
That's right.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that.
When can we, or you don't have to give me a time, but will you do an interview to, share with the world and help out as many people as we possibly could?
I'll do it absolutely whenever you want.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll set that up and we'll bring Danny Morell on, and that would be the episode you don't want to miss.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
That would be the episode that you want to miss. Well, hey,
All right.
thank you very much. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Appreciate it.
We'll see
You're not
you, bro.
leaving, are you?
No, I'm not. I'll be here.
Perfect. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
You sound great.
I want that setup, by the way.
All right. Awesome. Good. All right. So, okay, back to Gabriel. That was a good surprise.
It was.
Here's what I love about this. One of the things that we started off this interview by saying is that we go off the cuff. We're not scripted, nothing. And basically, he just walked in and verified just about almost everything.
Yeah, it was pretty. It's awesome.
Like,
things
all right,
happening.
we just got done talking about this, etc. So that was very, very, very awesome. Any words of wisdom? Any words of wisdom? To motivate someone, pump someone, give someone hope, give someone certainty. Anything you want to say to the people that are watching this or listening to this? Just anything. I'm not even gonna ask a question. What do you want to say to be complete?
So words of wisdom or inspiration, I would say you've seen it here, the energy and surrounding yourself with great people. Jim Rohn said that you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most, and I am a true believer in that. For some of us early, we may have some people that we hang around with that we know we shouldn't, and that's a hard thing to do, cut ties. But if you're really looking to grow, and it doesn't have to be in this industry, in whatever it is that you're working at or want to do or want to accomplish, I would say surround yourself with amazing people that help you and pick you up and motivate you to reach those goals.
I agree with you 100%. You are the average of the 5 closest people to you, periodly, and surrounding yourself with, positive, uplifting people who are moving in the direction that you're moving in is absolute critical and absolute key.
Yes.
So I'm going to make a recommendation. I'm not sure if you're doing this or not. We never really talked about it. But for me, it was a mastermind.
Oh, yeah.
It was a mastermind. They said the 5 closest people to you. So what I did is I picked 5 people that I wanted to be close with, and I began a mastermind. And then not only did I grow, but we all grew.
Yeah.
We all grew.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's key. I currently don't have a mastermind, but I have done masterminds. That obviously it dissolves and then we grow again.
Yeah.
But absolutely, when you're in a mastermind and sharing ideas and sharing, especially if each of you, if you're in the same industry or even if you're not, but different experiences, they help you because you'll get something from somebody, especially if they're huge thinkers like yourself. It's tremendously helpful for sure. Absolutely.
For sure. Perfect. Well, hey man, I just want to say thank you very much for giving us, your time, giving us your knowledge, just sharing freely and openly, and making a difference out there. I mean, that's exactly what we're all about here at Real Estate Success Mastery TV, is just making a difference. And I think the time that we spent together today is definitely gonna impact somebody out there to the point where it's going to be a turning point in their life. And like I said earlier, you're a man of contribution. I believe that you contributed very well today. So I just want to say thank you very much for that, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And hopefully, that there's somebody that gets inspired.
For sure.
And really pushes through if there's something that's stopping them.
Yeah.
Or something. So.
Yeah. So for those of you out there who are watching this and or listening to this in your car or while working out, whatever, we would really appreciate it if you just go to iTunes and leave us a good rating and a positive review. We'd really appreciate it. And if you feel like we've impacted you in any way, and of someone out there that needs this message, please forward this podcast to them, and we'd really appreciate it. And thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.
See ya.